Hello, how are you there? My name is Debo Adejano, real estate entrepreneur, MDCA Royalty Point Limited. They call us the Circular Landlord people. And this again is Real Estate Business with Debo Adejano. You're welcome. Okay? Now, I started a series. This is like the fourth part of that series. And it's going to be a long series, okay? Well, not really long, but I need you to understand the concept and I'll break it down again, okay? So, there is a financial freedom plan for your total financial makeover, okay? So you can turn your financial circumstance into what it is that you would want and not what probably looks like presently, especially if you are not really on top of your game as we speak. Now, this plan, because my own orientation is real estate, I've structured it in form of a building, okay? A building on 5 floors. The ground floor, first floor, second floor, third floor, and then the 4th floor, making 5 floors. The top floor meaning the 4th floor, okay? So it is ground floor plus 4, 5 floors in all. Now, we dealt with ground floor, which if you missed, please check the part 1 of this series, the unbundling your total financial makeover. Okay, now talk about the importance of your spouse. Carry your spouse along if you're married. If you're yet to be married, watching out for the kind of person you're going to spend the rest of your life with, to be someone that is interested in their financial health. Okay, very, very important. Then we talked about, we moved on to the floor 2, because that's ground floor, that's where you start from. Then we move on to floor 2. In floor 2 there are so many apartments there, okay? So floor 1 just has one single apartment, and that's your spouse, the person you're spending your future with, or the person you will spend it with. But when you get to floor 1, when you leave ground floor and you go to floor 1, taking the lift, you have so many apartments, okay? And for you to enjoy it, you need to fill up all of those apartments, okay? And so we started with there's an apartment 1 which talks about determining your net worth, okay, and your retirement figure, your net worth and your retirement figure. Very, 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 very important. We went on to talk about the importance of savings, you know, which I then explained to you how you can easily start to save by budgeting. So that we dealt with, okay. Now, today I'll be talking on what I've tagged, and that is will be part 4, right? So today I'll be talking on another apartment on the 1st floor of your total financial makeover. This is floor 1, and this is one of the other apartments there. And here, talking about the emergency fund. Yes, having an emergency fund is so crucial. What's an emergency fund anyway? Now, an emergency fund is money set aside to take care of emergencies when they do arise. Guess what? They always do. Yes, life happens. Life always would happen. It is your responsibility to be prepared when they do. The fact that they come unannounced does not mean they should meet you unprepared. I'll repeat that again. The fact that emergencies, okay, as their name, is, they come unannounced does not mean they should meet you unprepared. How do you then prepare for emergencies? By way of having what we call an emergency fund. That's what I'll be sharing in this episode. I'll be right back. Stay tuned. Real Estate Independence Fast Track course is not something you want to joke with at all. Loads and loads of learning and information and benefits await you at the next one. All you need to do is ensure that you register for your next Fast Track course. We're looking forward to seeing you. Do you want to be financially free? I hope you know that you will retire someday, and you probably are desirous of doing business with real estate or investing property for yourself, for your use. You need to learn about it before you make that next move. I tell people, you want to buy properties, you want to invest in property one way or the other, don't do it until you attend the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track course. See you there. Welcome back. Yeah, so talking about emergency fund, they're needed because, like I said, life does happen to us. I'm telling you. Yeah. And for us to, because life happens doesn't mean it should meet us unprepared. So we need to prepare for it, knowing that it would happen. It's not like expecting evil or anything. No, it's just being prepared. There is wisdom in it. Okay? There is wisdom in it. There is serious wisdom in being prepared for eventualities, because they do happen. So what do? This is the guiding point. Take, for example, this period that we are in, COVID and all of that. You know that a lot of people they've lost their job right now. They've gotten salary cut and all of that. Those are emergencies. They were not planned for. A lot of us did not expect what we had to face this year. We were not expecting it. We didn't expect it. You know, if you get what I'm saying. We're not expecting it. So it just happened. If you are not prepared, you will have been worse hit. For those that are not prepared at all, that don't have funds they can rely on during this period when income kind of, reduced and all of that. For a number of people, income reduced. Yeah, for some people, it was also a time to make money and more money and all of that. But there would always be such seasons in life, and you must be prepared. How you get prepared is by having an emergency fund. What's an emergency fund? Now, this is what I advise. In terms of an emergency fund, so that you remain financially free, I've told you the importance of being financially free while you are working and even whilst you are not working, when you retire, which is the most important time. You should actually aim for financial freedom, because there are a lot of people who are financially free when they are working, but of course wishing they were dead when they are retired, when there is no more money coming in. Emergency fund, you should take it for money that will cover your basic need for a month. Okay, emergency fund, what I advise you to do is to calculate what will take you for a month, what will cover your basic needs for a month, and have it saved in a liquid instrument or semi-liquid, at best semi-liquid, but I prefer liquid instrument, meaning it may not fetch you so much return because you are not going to be taking so much risk on it, because the aim of it is that you should be able to access it as you need it. Emergency comes without warning, so as it comes, you're able to access it. So put it in a savings account, put it in a money market instrument that you can pre-liquidate, things like that would help you. Secured, low interest, yes, but at least you can access. Accessibility is the word here. Okay, so you save up your 1 month basic necessity money. What's basic necessity? In my earlier episode talking about budgeting, I itemized 4 most important things for you to cover. If you cover these 4 things at any time, you are good. So that is also what informs the kind of money you should put aside for emergency fund. Of course, the money can be used for anything, but I'm just saying that what can guide you as to how much you need for an emergency fund is, for example, how much do you spend on food? Basically, not enjoying food, not food that you do going out and all of that. No, basic food. How much do you spend to feed yourself? Basic in a month. How much do you spend on your transport in a month? Basic. How much does that come to? How much do you spend on your utilities? Basic in a month. How much does that come to? And then how much do you spend on your rent, your house rent? Basic. If you add all of this up together, it gives you an idea of an amount you should put aside as your emergency fund. Yes, for 1 month. Add all of this together, and then you would have, that is the amount you should strive to put together in some savings account, in some money market instrument. Okay, 1 month of this expense, and you are covered for emergencies in a way, at least to an extent. We only hope and pray that we don't get to meet emergencies that will be beyond us. But at least if you have something, even when any size of emergency comes, it gives you, maybe it's higher than what you have saved, but it gives you at least a starting point. Okay, you have a starting point, and you are better off than somebody who has nothing at all and an emergency has come. The other thing you need to avoid, because there are a lot of people who have this type of money saved, but the challenge they have is they don't know or operate by the definition of an emergency. Okay, they spend it on anything. Once anything happens, they just spend it. No, don't spend it on just anything. You have to spend it on emergencies. How do I mean? For example, if you're going to give birth, that cannot be an emergency. Especially in this day and age, you cannot actually say that because your wife has to go through a cesarean operation, that becomes an emergency. No. You should know that is one of the ways by which people give birth now. Okay, if there are complications beyond that, during, I understand that can be an emergency. But if it is just natural childbirth or CS birth, it shouldn't be an emergency. You should have planned for that in terms of choosing your hospital, in terms of choosing the maternity she goes for, in terms of ensuring that you are on health plan that has maternity and probably CS covered that you've paid for beforehand, so that you don't have all of those unusual whatever. It's about planning your life. Okay, so you don't take giving birth as an emergency. No, because you have like 9 months notice. Okay, what can be an emergency? Losing your job unexpectedly, for example. A COVID happening and government declaring that you should stay at home, and then because of that your company is not making money and they say, hey, we can't pay anybody's salary, or you are now given leave without pay and all that. Those are emergencies because they are not planned for. So you have the right and the liberty to spend that money. Having an accident with your car, okay, is not an emergency. It can also be, but it is not major. You know why? Because ordinarily, for someone that is financially intelligent, you should have insured your car. Yes, you should have. You cannot say or claim to be financially intelligent and driving around town with car that is not insured. Or you can't cover eventualities, but you only do third-party insurance. It doesn't make sense. It's not about the rule of law or that the government will search your papers. No, it's about you being financially intelligent. Okay, comprehensive insurance. You can negotiate the rates. You can make sure that they are giving you appropriate valuation and not overvaluing your car, and so you are not paying excessively. Blah 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 blah. You are not paying less. You are not paying more. You should be paying appropriately, but insure. Because if that car should have an accident, even though that could be an emergency, at least, okay, for the repair of your car and all, it shouldn't be, because you would have insured, and then you can call on the insurance company. How it can be an emergency is you can be allowed to spend your emergency money is if your insurance company, for example, is delaying. Okay, I say so they are still going through the paperwork, but you need to fix your car in time. So you need to let them know that, hey, you're going ahead to fix your car and you expect a reimbursement. And once you agree, you can then take money from your emergency fund, fix your car, and when they pay, you replace it. Okay, so you benefit from having that money, but it is not absolutely going into into repairing your car. Okay, you need to be circumspect here. Sincerely speaking, a lot of us just live life frivolously and think that this should just happen. It doesn't happen like that. You have to plan. Okay, so it's not an emergency, even though it appears to be. You get. So whatever you are not in control of or couldn't have been in control of prior to happening, couldn't have mitigated, okay, or reduce the risk of it happening. These are things by yourself. These are things that you can call emergencies. And then you have the right to spend that money on it and then start to build that money again. So emergency fund is something once you expend, you have to build up again. Once you expend, you have to build up again. Now, what is the period within which you should build up an emergency fund? Because that's another thing. I advise people, don't give yourself the liberty of building an emergency fund for more than 6 months. Remember how to calculate your emergency fund. The emergency fund you need to put up. Your basic food, not eating out. Your basic food, if you are providing food for yourself, if you are the type that you cook and all of that, what it will require for you to cook basic meal for yourself. If it is two square meals and snacking 2.5, if it is 3 full meals you eat, if it is 2 you eat, whatever you eat, if it is 011 you eat, I mean, I'm just joking, but whatever it is that you basically feed yourself on and survive on, okay? Food, transportation, basic transportation, okay? Basic utility buildings, basic ones, not the flexing ones, okay? Your house rent. Now, talking about house rent, please, I hope you know that for a financially savvy person, you should not get yourself in bondage regarding rents, except you have other superior reasons why you must. For example, some people use their house also as offices, okay? So you can look at the benefit that gives you and position your house in some way. You must have it in some way and all of that because it adds to the value of your business, fine. But if your house is just your house, basic house and all of that, try to ensure that you don't spend more than about 30 to 40%. Your rent money, your food money, your transport money, your utility money, save it as your emergency fund. I hope you've gotten something. So you can use this whenever any emergency, anything that is out of your control, okay, that expenses that are beyond you, okay, that unexpected and necessary and urgent. They are unexpected, necessary and urgent. Once it's expected, there is notice about it. It's not an emergency. You should have planned for it. Don't make somebody else's emergency yours, okay? If it is necessary, if it is urgent, okay, attend to it with this fund, okay? Don't steal from your needs to pay for your wants. Your needs are basic. One of the ways you will do that is what would enable you be able to save, okay? This kind of thought is what will enable you to be able to save, like I said in the previous video, and also enable you to have emergency fund. Know that it is important. When you have this principle of not stealing from your needs to feed your wants, okay, your needs are basic and far superior to your wants. It is after satisfying your needs that you should be talking about wants. And if you have that principle, it will enable you save. It will enable you also build emergency fund. If you enjoyed the video, please click on the like button. We would appreciate that you do that. And if you've enjoyed it, you've not subscribed, we are aiming to get as much subscribers as possible. So please subscribe to this channel. And I hear a lot of people tell me, hey Debo, I enjoy your video a lot. I don't miss it. I always stay tuned. Whenever you drop a video, I go view it and all of that. I love that. Thank you very much for those encouraging feedbacks. But I would like you to take it a step further. If you're enjoying it this much, share it with someone else. Tell someone about this link that I think there is a channel you should subscribe to. I've been enjoying it and I think you should enjoy it. Let's build up this subscription base to at least reckon with the kind of value that we know we provide. I tell you. Or you want area. I don't know if you've heard about my alter egos project. So that these characters that play in my head, and I decided to bring them on. In some of my, especially in my Instagram handle. If you don't follow me on my Instagram handle, Debo Adejano. So there is this character right now that I'm relating with, and it also relates with our business, the kind of business we do. You know, the urchins, the touts, and all of those guys. Area is his name. Ibero is his native name. Okay. Area is his baptismal name, and his surname is Babata. If you want to know more about him, go to my Instagram handle and learn more about Area. I usually share some of the things relating to Area and all of that and demonstrate that character. Thank you very much. Till I come your way in another episode, I remain yours sincerely, Debo Adejano, in the business of helping you sack your landlord. Thank you. I believe you've enjoyed the video that you just watched. You gained a lot, right? Now, let me share with you where they say it all starts. It's called the Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track Course. It's a 2-all-day event. 2 days fully packed, teaching you about real estate, not just teaching you, showing you real estate stuff that you probably would not know. I'll be teaching you as a real estate entrepreneur or someone that is buying real estate for personal use or for investment, one way or the other. This is a course you don't want to miss. There is no tool of its kind in the market. It's the best that there is in the market, and you want to be there. Guess what? It is absolutely free.
If it is about real estate and it is about investing, particularly in Nigeria, this is a course that you want to attend. For the value that you will gain, it is absolutely free. All you need to do right now is to click on the link and register for the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track course. As a real estate entrepreneur or as a owner occupier of a house, this is a course you don't want to miss. So see you at the next Real Estate Entrepreneurs Fast Track course. Click the link below and get registered. Looking forward to seeing you there.